We're here with about a quarter of our one-year road test fleet. Those are vehicles that we live with for about a year and 20,000 miles to find out what they're like to live with day to day and get all the nitty-gritty details you can't get from a couple hours at the dealership. Now our fleet, it comes in all shapes and sizes, from a minivan to a full-size truck to, what the hell is this thing? We're Edmunds, and we test hundreds of cars each year on the road and at our private track, so you get the most trusted reviews. If you want to know which car, truck, or SUV is the best, then stick with us. This year, we purchased a pair of Honda Motocompacto foldable suitcase electric scooters that they created as a tribute to the Honda Motocompacto, the gas-powered scooter that they produced in the 1980s. Now, we didn't buy these things for no reason. We bought them for you drags so that we could get up and down the course faster, to set up cameras and mics and all of that good stuff. And here at Edmunds, when we say that we test everything, we mean everything.
I mean, we had to test the Motocompactos, right? Those first couple miles on the beach path weren't too bad, but as soon as you hit the first crack, the thing is, the Motocompacto has solid rubber tires and no suspension, so you feel it in your spine. Not only do you feel it there, the front also wobbles, so it's difficult to control, uncomfortable, we did it, but probably not again.
You see the things that we do for you. Now, Honda says that you can expect about 12 miles of range out of one of these things, and we got nearly 14 miles out of it while it was in the lower speed setting, and in its high speed setting, we got just under 10 miles. But this isn't a test that we would recommend that you do for yourself, because these things, they get pretty uncomfortable over time. So unless you have really smooth pavement or a cushy aftermarket seat, leave the testing to us. Now, we love these things because they're cool. I mean, just look at them. But if you're actually planning to use a scooter for transportation, there are better options out there. A cursory Google search revealed that for the Motocompacto's $1,000 price tag, you can definitely find scooters that go both faster and go further. So unless you're a big Honda fanboy, your money is probably better spent elsewhere if you're gonna ride this thing every day, and thus ends the only scooter buying advice you're ever going to get from us. Sorry. We actually have two Stellantis vehicles in our garage, the first being our cursed Dodge Charger Daytona that we talked about in the last road test roundup. And then there's this, the Ram 1500 from the same parent company, but this is a vehicle that we like a lot more. After all, this is one of our highest rated trucks. But even though we like it, it hasn't been smooth sailing with this thing either, simply because sometimes things just don't work.
So at just over 200 miles on the odometer, I got in the Ram, pressed the start button, and it wouldn't start. Just a warning message and a flashing shifter light. An hour later, I tried again and the problem kind of fixed itself. It wasn't a very confidence-inspiring start to our test of this $88,000 truck.
We've also had problems with the Ram's driver assist. Now, for each of the vehicles that are in our one-year road test fleet, we keep a logbook where our staff can submit notes, and a bunch of them have noted issues here. While driving, our Ram will frequently throw errors for everything from the automatic emergency braking system to the blind spot monitoring to the adaptive cruise control to the lane keeping, simply saying that they aren't functioning. Now, this usually goes away when we turn the truck on and off, but even with that, this isn't something that you should be dealing with frequently in a brand new truck. And if you're sick of dealing with your car for any reason, we've got tools on our site to help you get a real cash offer for your current set of wheels very fast. Now, there is one other feature on this truck that works exactly as intended, but
we ended up with a Ram with the optional tow mirrors, which are great for seeing behind you on the highway. And, you know, if you like that sort of big rig feeling, the extra width definitely gives you that. But in the city, it makes the Ram like almost sketchy to drive, especially on narrow 2-lane roads, especially at crosswalks where the limited visibility out the front could block a pedestrian or another car. Only get the tow mirrors if you need them.
This is a bit of a tough one for us because despite those issues, we still really like this truck. The independent air suspension makes it smooth and comfortable on the road. The interior is huge and well appointed. The engine under the hood, that turbocharged inline-6, is great, and a few of our staffers who have used it to move said that it was a godsend. So fingers crossed that the rest of its time with us goes smoother, unlike our next vehicle, which is anything but. We also bought a Lexus GX this year after discovering just how much more we like it than the Toyota Land Cruiser. And while there's plenty of great stuff about this SUV, ride quality isn't one of those things.
The GX rides like a truck. It can be pretty bouncy over rough pavement and has a ton of body roll around every corner. Now, if you like that trucky feel and enjoy off-roading, then it's great. But as someone outside the target audience, the GX is not for me.
Even though we might not have enjoyed the GX that much on-road, once it got off the pavement, that was a different story.
I took the One-Year GX out for a family off-roading day, and this thing's a champ. Easy to load all our stuff for 2 adults, kids, dogs, whatever. I was able to put my traction boards across the back, and the kids' car seats went in no problem. It was super smooth and quiet on the way to the trail, and then once we got off-road, no problem. Washboards, super smooth. Sandy washes, super fun. Technical stuff where you're going through some rocks or maybe uphill or downhill, handled it no problem. The long nose and big wheels had me a little worried about damage, but the 360 camera suite made it really easy. And once we got back on the road home, mom and kids were asleep within a half an hour. Can't ask much more from an SUV.
I really like the Turbo 6 in the GX. When you're cruising, it feels really restrained and subtle, but when you ask for some speed, it wakes right up and gets really lively.
Even if all the stuff that this SUV does really well sounds great to you, there is one potential deal breaker that we do have to mention.
I've taken the GX on several road trips now, and there are a lot of reasons to like this car. However, one thing you're going to have to be okay with is spending a lot of time and money at the gas station. The GX has a relatively small 21-gallon gas tank, and between that and our average of just 16 miles per gallon, you're only going to get about 300 miles or less on each tank of gas. That means a lot of stops. And at national average fuel prices, it's going to cost you around $80 to refill each time, since this thing requires premium. Or if you're here in California like us, it's closer to 100. Ouch.
If the GX's fuel economy turns you off, then you're probably going to enjoy this thing a little bit more. We recently added this Kia Carnival Hybrid to our fleet, and in its short time with us, it's already gotten a ton of love from our staff. It's got all of the great minivan attributes: sliding doors, seemingly infinite room, a low load-in height, but beyond its form factor, there's also plenty of stuff that we've enjoyed.
Carnival's awesome just as a daily driver. The interior is really impressive. The stereo's good, and the back seats in our Carnival are wild. If no one's in the third row, you can slide them back, they recline, and you can put your feet up. It'd be the perfect road trip car with friends.
But even with cars that we like, there are things that we would change.
All right, our Carnival has the heated and ventilated VIP seats in the second row, which are cool if you're just hauling around a couple of friends and like road tripping to Vegas or something. But if you're a parent, skip them. They move side to side, but not as much as in a Honda Odyssey, so they're not as useful. And they also make getting into the third row way more difficult. The other thing you should know is that no matter what trim, every Carnival Hybrid comes with perforated seats, either leather or fake leather. So if your kid tends to spill, you're definitely going to want to get a seat cover.
It isn't just that you can't take these seats out to really open up all that space. The other problem is that they make accessing the third row really difficult. Now, there's no room to fit between the door and the seat to get to the third row. We found that the best way to do this is to actually take both seats, slide them out as far as they will go, like this. But even when you do that, the space to climb back there, it's a pretty tight squeeze. And then there's what's under the hood. We have the hybrid version of the Carnival, and we recommend this one over the gas because even though it costs $2,000 more, you're gonna save around $800 a year on fuel. That doesn't mean though that it's perfect.
The Carnival's engine feels smooth and strong when you're just cruising around town. But if you got to quickly merge onto the highway, or maybe you're going up into the mountains, it'll start to feel a little lack of power. It can feel sluggish.
A lot of our negative experience with a vehicle usually revolves around something breaking or malfunctioning. But sometimes a vehicle works exactly as it's intended, but sometimes it just turns out that the car isn't very good. Now, unlike older cars, modern cars can get better with time via over-the-air updates. But even if you consider that, our time with this Volvo EX30 has been a mixed bag.
I really wanted to like our Volvo EX30, but there are so many things about this car. The hot glass roof, the buttonless key fob, the constant driver assist annoyances, the fact that there's no instrument cluster in front of the driver. They just make this car really frustrating to drive and live with.
The tech in this thing was, and to some degree still is, a total nightmare. There are way too few physical controls, and that means that everything is buried deep in the central screen. And some of this stuff is almost impossible to find, especially when you're on the move. Also, before the software update, every time I started Apple CarPlay, I had to go through 3 different submenus to give it permissions for location and privacy and other some such things. I want to do that stuff once and be done with it. I know that some of the issues were fixed, but it makes you wonder why Volvo shipped a car like this in the first place. And even now, when my fleet manager tells me that I have to take the EX30 home, my first question is literally, is there anything else?
I've never looked at the notes log for one of our one-year road test vehicles and seen the word frustrating so many times. And if you want more of the gory details on this vehicle or more details on any other vehicle on the road today, head over to Edmunds and check out our full ratings and reviews. We really wanted to like this car. Everyone on staff appreciates its city-friendly form factor and the fact that even though it's small, you still get plenty of room inside. And this interior, it's also great. We really like the recycled plastic dash with this pebbling, the sculptural air vents, and the real metal door handles. And on top of that, it's also surprisingly quick.
So at 3.5 seconds to 60, the EX30 is not only the quickest Volvo we've ever tested, it's as quick as a 911.
And what's more, Volvo has actually fixed a lot of the issues that we had with this technology when we got it. The constant driver alert beeping, fixed. The Apple CarPlay pairing issue, also fixed. And even the menu structure has been reworked to make it more intuitive. Even with those improvements, the fact of the matter is that you don't want to be a beta tester if you're spending $50,000 on a new vehicle. It should feel like a finished, cohesive product rather than something that is rushed and incomplete. Anyway you slice it, our time with this Volvo, it's been a disappointment. And then there's the Honda Civic Hybrid. We love this car. It's an Edmunds top rated best of the best winner for 2025, and it's been a great addition to our fleet. Now, it's never in the garage because this thing is always checked out. That's how much we love driving it. And if you look in its comment book, there just aren't that many comments in there because sometimes no news is good news.
I love how the Civic drives. It's really easy to maneuver through traffic. The acceleration is not jerky, it feels very smooth, and the suspension feels very smooth and controlled.
People have also praised this interior. Honda uses real metal for a lot of the touch points in here, for like the volume knob and the temperature knobs, and also because we got the hatchback instead of the sedan, we've got a bunch of extra cargo room back there too. However, just like with any vehicle, give it to us for long enough, we're gonna find some things that need improvement.
I really like the Civic Hybrid. I think it's a great car. It's well built, it's fun to drive, and it feels like a more premium option in that class. That said, it is missing a few things. For one, the lumbar support, it's not adjustable, and that's a big thing for me. Apple CarPlay can feel a bit small on the screen, and out on the highway when I'm using the adaptive cruise control, sometimes it's a bit slow to react, and there is a noticeable amount of tire noise. With all that said, I think it's a car that still gets a lot of things right.
Now, if you've enjoyed this update or any of our other videos, the best way to help us to make more of them is a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about any of the vehicles here, or even an idea of what we should add to our fleet next, let us know in the comments below. We do read them all. That was just a part of our garage, so stick with us for more from our one-year road test fleet. And we should be adding our newly top-rated 3-row SUV to the mix soon, and we will have an update for you on our currently under the weather supercharged Mustang Dark Horse. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.